Okay, so transmission is in. Now it's time to figure out the coolant, the intercooler lines. So I just removed the condenser fan and look at this. Wow. That's all the gunk that was behind the fan itself. Damn. Alright, so that out of the way, I really want to do this without removing the condenser and disturbing any of the lines, because my AC was working perfectly, still is working perfectly. So yeah, the plan is to cut down these brackets and just both of these brackets cut down, and then this will give me space to put in the intercooler, the stock intercooler from the 210 or the donor car. And yeah, let's see how that goes. Alright, so this is my first mock-up of the intercooler. I basically cut down those two splines right there and then just zip tied it to where I think it could go. I can most definitely get it further in. I just need to cut down the plastic shielding on both sides, but I mean, that wouldn't be a problem. I will now try to get the bumper on and see if it interferes in any spots, probably, but if not, then hell yeah. After the first fitting, this side fit, but this side didn't fit. This part right here sticks out and it interferes with the bumper. As you can see, if you look at it straight dead on, it pops out a bit, so it will need to be pushed in further. But another thing is that this specific intercooler has been crashed before, and this whole part, it should be a straight line between the radiator itself and the tube that goes out, but it's bent so that this tube sticks out a bit more. So I will probably get a better intercooler which is straight, and also yeah, I will cut down this plastic part and it should fit. So to get it to actually fit, I had to drill down the brackets for the crash guard for this right here quite a bit more until they're almost flush. Basically, these brackets, the condenser is over them, so they are out of the way. So I had to do that, and also I removed both of the plastic guarding here on both sides of the rails. And so, as you can see, it now sits a lot deeper than before. It's almost touching the condenser here, but that's about as close as I need to go. And so yeah, that's how it looks. Right now I have it zip tied just to get it into position, and this looks fine for now. So the idea now is to use these holes that came on it originally, and I made these little brackets that just basically go on like this. Boom, and then it will loop over. Damn it. It will loop over, or maybe under. I want it to loop over, but maybe, I don't know if I will be able to weld it. So yeah, so it will loop over like that, and then I'll just weld it there. So both on both sides, and that should be enough, I think. And yeah, you can see that, well, this side will be a bit closer to here, but basically it's a couple, like less than a centimeter from all of the sides, so from here and from the condenser right down there. So it's a tight fit, but it will fit. In my case, my intercooler is bent and it's been repaired, and this part sticks out, but I'll get a new intercooler and that will solve it. But this is fitting right now. So yeah, so here's the first mount done. Excuse my bugger welds. I wouldn't even call them welds, but hey, this part isn't very weight bearing, so they're not pretty, but they'll hold. So yeah, this is the bracket that I made. I mean, I made it so that in case I need to push the intercooler backwards or forwards, I can just space it out with a few washers. So yeah, this is the bracket. It goes out there. So yeah, here you can see how close it is to the condenser here, and also both ends are pretty close to this bracket, but this should be fine. So yeah, and now I'll just make a new, the same kind of mount right here. Weld that, or you know, bugger weld that to this bar here, screw it here, and we also should be good. Yeah, and also I had to completely remove the upper braces right here, so almost to the crash bar itself, to the body, because the intercooler really has to sit very, very high in order to fit. So yeah, this hopefully will fit and we'll be good to go. So here's the other mount completed, basically same idea. And yeah, I mean, the welds look a bit better. I finally got it to somehow flow. I mean, they're still terrible, but a bit better than what's on that side. That is just wow. All right, but yeah, that's it mounted. Here it's a bit of a bigger gap. It probably will need to be pushed back a bit, so I'll probably bend this a bit more so it sits more nicely. But you know, honestly, we'll see. If it rubs a bit here, I'm not too concerned because of the broken intercooler here, but the replacement that I'll get will probably fit fine. So let's see. I'll clean up these welds just a bit, paint them over so that they're nice and protected, and yeah, that should be it. Also, yeah, one more thing, I had to cut this the tow hook, and I'll probably cut it a bit more right here because it's pretty close to touching and it might hit. But yeah, the idea here would be just to, so I'll cut it and then I'll just weld a new piece of metal here, so it's a smaller hook essentially. That shouldn't be a problem. I put the bumper on, and yeah, when you really push it in, it rests a bit on the, so it hits, so there's really not a lot of room here, but I'll just, so see, I still have some room up there, so tomorrow I'll put in some washers there and bring the intercooler forwards. Same deal here. There's also a bit of room. It's a bit, so right now it doesn't stand, it doesn't stay completely vertical. It's a bit tilted, but that I also will I'll just bend these tabs a bit inwards, and then it will sit a bit more straight. Although that is not really, that wouldn't really help me, because if it would sit straight, this means that this part would come out a bit more. So perhaps I'll leave it like that. I'll just space it a bit closer to this condenser. Worst case scenario, yeah, I'll just stick some rubber piece there. So I mean, if the bumper is a bit pushed out with the intercooler, so be it. I mean, the bumper itself is, yeah, it's got cracks everywhere, and I mean, yeah, that really isn't an issue for me. And besides, I'll probably be able to space it, so if it hits just slightly. So yeah. Next is glowplug wiring. So my car was originally a 5-cylinder, so 602. So it had the same connector, the one that comes for the relay, for the glowplug control box. But the problem is it only had 5 wires. So I got this from a donor vehicle, and yeah, you can really see the biodegradable wiring in action. I mean, it's falling apart. You can see it's split into so many pieces in here. It's already been repaired, and it just crumbles away. So the plan now is to take these leads, insulate them with a brand new heat shrink, so like up to here, and then cut this off. And this is the harness from the donor vehicle, the 210. I'll cut this plug off and then solder these 6 leads to this, and then I'll have a W124 plug with the 210 harness. So this is I mean, it's not in the best shape, but the wires, the insulation itself is a bit better here, so this will do. And also this comes with the correct temperature sensor. So the W210 has this type of plug, but 124, here, let me show you, has this kind of plug with the two big prongs that it attaches to. But this is the sensor for the 210. So it will plug in right here, because that's the original harness, glow plug. And it will come here, and I'll just cut this off. This also has been biodegraded. I'll just cut this off right there and solder the leads from the original 210 plugs. So that will be probably pretty easy. And I also bought this relay control, so I had the same box principle basically, but it was for 5 cylinders, so it only had 5 output plugs. So I had now a 6-cylinder relay box, and then that should do it. Also, an interesting note, my old so this car originally came not with this, which is a 602, the old one, but with a 605 NA. So the 605, as well as the 606 in the 124, has 2 temperature sensors, one here on the head and one here. Supposedly one is for the engine's temperature, like your dash, and the other is for the AC fans. So you can see that here, as the car was originally a 605, I also had 2 leads, but I guess they're spliced into one another. Honestly, I don't feel like taking it apart, but yeah, it's probably spliced in. And I mean, like the temperature here and the temperature here, it doesn't really matter which sensor you take it from. I don't know why there are 2 sensors there, but I mean, I'll have one sensor, just will plug into this one, and that's it. No need to drill another sensor right there, because the same reading basically. So yeah, that was just a fun fact I noticed. So I scrapped the idea of soldering onto these wires, because as you can see, they're full of green crusties. So new plan is just to burn out the old solder and then put the new wire straight into it. And here you can see I did it for the first wire, and then seems like a nice contact will be there, and much easier this way. And also this wiring is completely fine. It's nice and well, it's a bit like plastic, but it's fine, honestly. Here's the finished result. Some of them wanted to cold solder, but I applied more acid and it seemed fine that way. And this is a working harness now, so that's done.